Yeah, I mean, we had some good games. We had some games that, wish we could have a few plays back here and there. It's one of those things that would have been interesting to see what would happen if we had more time. But we're in the position where we are right now, and we'll see what happens this week. And we're just focused on winning one game right now and just see how the cards fall.
Julius Thomas is a little surprising because I don't remember hearing anything about that.
Well, we got through the game, and he did it early in the game and played through it, and which was surprising once we found out how bad it was. So, for him to, I guess he got rolled up on early in the game and didn't say anything, just kept playing.
Do you feel like you guys just didn't quite get where you wanted to with him this season?
I mean, you're always going to wish that we had more, production from every position, especially where we're at right now. We wish everybody would, maybe done a little bit more up to this point. So, and that's what we're really striving on this week is, we got 2 games to really make some strides here and, win this one and go from there and see what happens.
Coach, do you feel like you can build momentum going into the offseason and into what happens in the last 2 games?
I mean, we're still in this season. I mean, this thing's not quite over yet.
Have you mentioned to the players that the playoffs have not been eliminated from consideration?
I mean, they're aware. They're aware. I mean, just keep telling them play until somebody tells you not to. So our job is to win one game.
What would you like to see from Devontae Parker in his final 2 weeks to finish strong?
Build off the last game. He had some positive things that happened. Just anytime you get that one-on-one matchup, we're just counting on him to win. I know Jay's counting on him to, anytime we have a jump ball, for him to go get it and make a play. And I feel like we're starting to have better practices. And, last game it was good to see him, get an opportunity and go get one.
Is he the type of player that almost always translates good in practice to good in games, or is it you see it sometimes in practice and you don't see it?
I'd say a majority of the time, that's almost everybody. I haven't been around too many guys that had a really bad week of practice and then played well in the game.
Coach, with Rashad coming off injury and having to work with a different safety back there, how has he evolved this season? What have you seen assess his year this second Pro Bowl season?
I think he's done everything we've asked him to do. His flexibility helps us. His ability to cover guys one-on-one. Coming off that injury, he was ready to go. He was excited, when it gets taken away from you, when you never really – I don't even know how many practices he's really missed in his career. I don't know if there was any. And when it's taken away from you and then you get another chance and you get healthy, he made the most of it. And he did everything to try to help our defense, be better this year. We had a lot of good games, and obviously a lot of other people saw that.
What makes Kansas City a tough place to play?
It's loud. The environment, it's a great environment. It's one of my favorite stadiums to go to. Being in that division, to go play a team, and those fans are. I mean, they're into it, and it's hard to hear, and it's when it comes a tight game, they try to affect the other team.
Adam, you had several players who we thought were in consideration for the Pro Bowl who didn't make it, namely Ndamukong Suh. What did you think about that? Was that a surprise to you?
Yeah, it is, because every team we play, there's 2 to 3 guys on them. So I don't really understand that one. So I know we haven't won enough games this year, but that, to me, that guy should be penciled in before they even start voting. I mean, he's that dominant of a player, causes that much problems for offenses. I know if we were playing him, it'd be an issue. We'd do as many things as we possibly could to stop him. And the thing that I've noticed is you don't see many teams doing that, and they put a lot of guys on him.
I know that's not the top priority on your list, but it matters a lot to your players. Do you feel like there were other guys that were left out unfairly?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of guys, but there's also a lot of good players in the league. Sometimes, it's perception, that guys have of what somebody did in the past. It's always hard to kind of get that first, round when you've been there a few times. It just, that name's easier for a lot of people to write down. I mean, the thing is when voting's going on, you're not paying attention to every team in the league. You're worried about the teams you're playing. So you're not really always sure who's really having a good season. You're not watching every individual player.
Now that the season's over, what kind of season did Julius Thomas have?
I thought he tried to do what we asked him to do. He's a better run blocker than what he was when I had him at a young age, which, if there's one thing I think he took out of Jacksonville was he was put in that position, and it was either adapt or die, and he got better in that area. But, I wish we would have got the matchups that we were looking for more often. We just didn't really get what we were hoping for. Didn't have enough attempts in the red area to really utilize them. I mean, last week was our first snaps at goal line. That was really where we made most of our money, where we'd spread everybody out and he'd get a one-on-one matchup with a linebacker. And, we didn't get those matchups this year. And, that's really where he was effective, was when we get in the red zone and he'd get a safetier linebacker and we could isolate him.
Is there anything that would lead you to believe that if he stays or wherever he plays, that he'll eventually get the matchups that are profitable to him? Or
Yeah, I think if you get enough red zone opportunities, we're probably on the lower half of just opportunities in the red zone. We had such a horrendous start to the season with the amount of plays we had, the way we moved the ball, scoring points, all those type of things. We didn't really get to use all the things that we worked on.
Evan, when you look at your road record, 2-5, is it possible for a team to be a bad road team but not a bad team overall, or can you break it up as home and road, or is it all one?
It depends. It's where you playing, who you playing. Sometimes, what was your health status that week? I mean, every week it's so different. That's why you just got to reset it every week, and whoever you have and where you're going and the opponent you're playing, the kind of matchup you have. I mean, all those things come into play.
Coach, when you see a guy like Tyreek Hill on film, what is it that you come away with?
Well, when you have the type of speed he does, it's one of those things you hear people say it all the time, you can't coach it. So it's always hard to match up with him. And you have to understand where he's at in formation. You got to understand, what type of routes that can really cause some damage. You can't miss tackles. If you let him really just start getting free, give him green grass, that's where he'll do a lot of damage. And that's why he's had success the last 2 years, no matter what he's done, whether it be punt returns, receiver. I mean, he'll cause a lot of problems.
I'm not sure if Jermon Bushrod will play again, but having been around him with multiple teams, how would you describe some of the attributes that he brought?
He's one of those guys we counted on him to be there every day, and he pretty much was. I mean, I don't think he missed a practice last year, and this year he had a pretty good streak going. The guys were always giving him a hard time of, we had a bunch of injuries, so for a guy that was, when we first talked about when he came back about vet days and things like that, and he never got any because everybody else we didn't have enough guys. Everybody kept getting hurt, so I think he had a good streak going there of no days off. So, but he's one of those guys that was, he's always great in the locker room. Guys respect him. He's done a lot of different things. Played multiple positions for me in Chicago, and coming here, basically in a sling, and believing me when I said, hey, I'm going to move you to guard, and told him that he'd be able to do it. That meant a lot to me. The fact that he took a shot on that, because he could have easily went somewhere else. But he's always been one of those guys that have tried to show the young guys the right way to do things.
Adam, given your history with him and where he is in his career, how disappointing that his season has been?
I'm sure anytime you go on IR at the end of the season, it's a disappointment. Especially you always want to finish what you started, and he's been out for a little bit, so it was just we could never turn the corner. And, you know, it was just to the point where we had to get some healthy bodies, and we've had a lot of guys banged up here the last couple of weeks.
And how would you evaluate his pitch?
I mean, I'm gonna have to. It's a little harder for me with the O-line. You know, it's easier to kind of, when you're moving skilled guys around and kind of knowing how you're supposed to use them. You know, we're gonna have to go back through this off season. That's really gonna be kind of a big project for me. You know, taking a look at how we either can get better or what we need to do different, how guys performed.
When you spoke the other day about evaluation,
Every week being an evaluation, especially now at the end here. Stephon Anthony, do you feel like you guys have a complete evaluation on him because of him being around a short time and not playing that much, or do you need to dig a little deeper into him?
I think we're just going to keep going these last two games, and like I said, it's hard to go through this whole evaluation thing that everybody wants us to do 2 weeks left in the season. I mean, we're playing to win. I mean, that's what we're going to do, and you know, our guys' job is to put out good tape and try to figure out a way to help our team win football games. So that's it.
Or where's he at right now then?
I mean, he's got a good grasp of the defense, and you know, he's in the mix and trying to make plays all the time, and he's involved in a lot of tackles. So, you know, I feel like he brings really great energy to our defense. I love the way he practices, and when he goes out in the field on Sundays, he's a guy that you can tell he loves being out there, and he's excited to get a play.
All business for you? He's been a good.
Yeah, he's been great.
What did you see out of Cameron Malvo as well? This last game.
He's so fired up. When he got up on the active roster, I mean, he is full throttle all the time. It doesn't matter how many snaps he plays. Whatever he has, you're going to get it. And you know, that's a deep group, so it's, you know, he knows when he gets on that field, and he earned it. And you know, he tries to do every detail right that Matt's asking him to do. You know, you never really hear his name come up when the mistakes are talked about. He's very sharp. He's kind of one of those guys in that room. Those guys respect him, and they know he puts a lot of time into making sure he does the right thing.
Last question.
Coach, I know you don't watch a lot of games on Saturday, but have your paths ever crossed with Lane Kiffin, and do you have any opinions about what kind of coach he is?
Yeah, I've known Lane. I've known him for a few years, you know, with him going to Alabama, just kind of being down there with Coach Saban, so, or I guess up there. But I've always, you know, anytime we talk football, we've had some good conversations. You know, I bump into him every once in a while. It's good to see that, you know, he's having the kind of success that he's having. You know, he's a good coach. Always kind of, you can tell he's one of those guys that he knows when the good things are going well for him in a game. He seems to really get a good feel for calling plays and knows how to pick a defense apart.
you're smirking a lot, like I would assume you guys
Might
might
get along pretty well.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.